This video has been made possible by Rebusfarm, the professional render service. Hey everybody, Mike here at Image Tutorials and welcome back. Well guys, today we're going to do a video tutorial that has been requested quite often, and the question that I received is, can you explain how to batch render an animation in Maya 2016? Okay, well that's what we're going to do, so hang on and we'll jump in. Alright. Okay guys, so we're back in Maya, and in order for me to explain how the batch render process works, I need to have an animation, obviously. So I set up something extremely simple. It's just a ground plane and a cube and a light. Okay, so what I did is I dragged my cube all the way over here. I hit S on my keyboard to keyframe it on frame 1. Then I dragged my mouse to frame 60 and keyframed it again. Okay, so if we hit play, the only thing that happens is the cube moves over. Okay, and I added the light source, so once we render this out, we have actually something to look at. Okay, if I had 7 on my keyboard, actually the light's already on, you can see the difference. Okay, cool. So now let's prepare to set up for our batch render. First we need to kind of choose the position that we want for a render, and we'll just do a little test run here. We'll just hit play and see what happens. Okay, that looks good. We're going to jump back to frame 1, and what we're going to do is we're going to go up to render settings. Now it doesn't really matter whether you use Maya software or Mental Ray or whatever, but I'm going to use Maya software in this case. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into let's see, the common tab here, and we'll just close this all up. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to start with our file output. Okay, so I want to create a series of individual rendered images. Okay, you have the option to have a video as an output file as well, but if something goes wrong during a render, especially if it's a very long render, then you will have to start over again. Okay, so I have a preference to render individual excuse me, JPEG images that I then stitch together into a movie file. All right, so we're going to start with our name prefix. I want this to be called cube. Okay, now for my image format, when I output this, like I said, you got quite a few options here. I chose for JPEG. Okay, so I want each file to be called cube with an extension JPEG. But that said, I need to choose a kind of a sequence or naming convention. Okay, so what I'm going to go for is name and then the pound key .ext. So what that means is every image that I render out will have the name cube followed by a number, so cube1 .ext for extension, in this case JPEG. Okay, so it's cube1.jpg, cube2.jpg, and so forth. All right, cool. Now frame padding, I'm going to leave that alone. We're going to go down here to our frame range. Now I want to start my batch render at frame 1 because that's where my animation starts, and I want it to end at frame 60. Okay, and I want each individual frame to be rendered. Okay, what else? Rendering camera. Now I've been looking at my scene from a perspective point of view, so we are looking at through our perspective camera. If you have multiple cameras set up in your scene, you can choose how to view your scene as you render it out. Okay, now I only have one, so I'm going to leave this in perspective. All right, okay, so how big do you want each image to be when you render it out? Let's not go crazy here, and let's do HD 720. Okay, I want to keep the height weight ratio, that's fine. So this is all set up. I want it to be in pixels, the resolution, all good. Let's see what else we got here. All right, we're not going to mess with that. Okay, so now that I have all of that set up, I'm going to go into my rendering menu up here. And when I do that, I have the option to approach this render tab up there. And from there, I'm going to go down to batch render and go to the option box. Okay. Now here I have the option to use all available CPUs or processors, and in my case I have more than one, so I have that selected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit batch render and close. Okay, here we go. Now once I do that, excuse me. So once I do that, you see this comment down here. It says result rendering with Maya software. Now we'll give that a minute. It shouldn't take too long, and oh, there you go. And suddenly it starts to render out the individual frames, and you can see by the numbering here, cube 13, 14, 15, and so forth. So it's going through the batch render process and is creating individual images. Okay, so I'll just pause the video until that's done. Hang on. Right guys, and now you can see as a result rendering completed. Okay, and there's a log file for information that you can check just in case something went wrong, but in our case it's all good. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump over to our output folder. All right, hang on. All right guys, so I'm on my desktop. I'm going to click on test animation, and we're going to go to images, and here we have 60 JPEG images of a cube. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we are going to take these and stitch them together in a program. You can use, for example, Microsoft Movie Maker or whatever composition software you have. Okay, so let's pull up my software here. And there we are. I specifically used Movie Maker because most people have this, as I believe it's part of Windows. Okay, so we're going to maximize that, and we're going to go, this is actually in Dutch, but I'll translate it. Okay, so we're going to add media or images. All right, I'm going to go to my desktop here, and I'm going to go into, where is my test animation folder? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Hang on. Okay, here it is. We're going to go to images, and I'm going to select all of these and open them. Okay, and now what I need to do is I need to figure out, okay, so how long should each image be shown? Okay, now I know that I want 30 frames a second. I got 60 frames, so this should be a 2-second video. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to select all of the images. Okay, all right guys, so we're gonna hold down Control and Shift and select all of our images, and then we're gonna go up to let's see, where is that? Not quite sure what the English command will be here, but you can find this, right? Okay, so this is the duration of each image. Now, the lowest value possible in this specific application is 0.03. Okay. Now, if we multiply that times 60, then the total animation will be 1.8 seconds, which is pretty close to the 2 seconds that I wanted to have anyway. Okay. So we're just going to hit play here, and let's see how that works out. Okay, cool. So it looks okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go up to a file, and we're going to publish the movie. Okay. Now you have a number of ways you can do this. For example, to YouTube or whatnot. And once you do that, you will have your video file that you can play. That's all there's to it. Okay. So hopefully that clarifies a little bit how to approach this in Maya 2016. And again, you can use all sorts of software to do this and add titles and music and all that neat stuff. But that said, these are the absolute basics. Okay. Well, hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. That would be very neat. And I'd see you guys next time. Bye.